Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first Moody Talk on jealousy. Yes, jealousy. We all feel it. It's a valid emotion. We all have felt jealousy and jealous, and we need to really think about what jealousy is and why it's a valid emotion, right? Let's get into it. So, jealousy is when there's a threat that someone or something you love may be taken away from you. It's also competition, right? Competition can cause jealousy. So, jealousy is the fear of maybe losing a partner to someone else or losing, a best friend, right? It's not even losing, but maybe your best friend is hanging out with someone else a little bit more now. And so that can cause jealousy because what if one day you want to hang out with your friend and they're hanging out with someone else? You can feel jealousy in that way. It's okay. It's a valid emotion. And also with the competition for work. Let's say that you work with someone who does a very similar job to you. And you have this feeling that you want to do it better than them. Or you have this fear that they are going to take away parts of your job because they do a similar job, or maybe they take all of your job. And that can be scary and that can cause jealousy, right? So that's mainly what jealousy is all about. Again, valid emotion, we all feel it. Let's talk about descriptive words that we use and the behaviors we have, the actions we take, and the body sensations we feel. It's so important for us to focus on these things. And I do it with every first Moody Talk because I feel it's important to build a vocabulary around our emotion, this month, jealousy, to figure out the intensity of how we're feeling this emotion. There are more intense words than others. And if we understand our own vocabulary, then we can figure out how intensely we're feeling an emotion and what we may need for, to help us for coping skills, for distress tolerance, or regulating your feelings in the moment, right? Okay, so let's get into descriptive words first. Okay, descriptive words. These are just some of mine, okay? There are so many different words that we can use. I just pulled a few of them out, and we'll start off with naming these words. Possessive, suspicious, self-protective, rivalrous, defensive, mistrustful, clinging, fearful of losing. Okay, so these are just some words that can be used to describe jealousy. Now let's look at the word scale. The way that I put these words on the scale is indicative of how intensely I'm feeling this emotion. Okay, so we start off at the bottom here. I find mistrustful to be a not very intense word for jealousy, and then move up a little bit to suspicious, defensive. That's moving more towards the center, where we have clinging coming up near the middle here. Fearful of losing is starting to go across to the more intense side of the scale. Self-protective, most definitely, somewhere like in the middle of the scale, of the top of the scale here. Possessive, coming up really tight on the intensity. And rivalrous being the most intense word that I feel when I'm thinking of jealousy. Okay? I highly recommend you do this. Figure out your words. Figure out the intensity you feel so that you know how strongly you're feeling something in the moment. Okay, let's go on to body sensations and experiences when we're jealous. Okay, we can feel breathless, fast heartbeats or a racing heart, choking or a lump in your throat, like you can't say something that you're feeling, right? That's a pretty big, experience, sensation, right? Is that lump in the throat. Feeling rejected, needing to control a situation or a person or a thing, feeling possessive, and the idea that no one cares. No one cares about you. They're focusing on other people or things. Okay. Then let's talk about the expressions and actions that we have when we're jealous, the things that we tend to do when we're jealous, okay? So we're talking about accusations of disloyalty. So literally going to someone and saying, you've cheated, or you've, gone behind my back and done something that I wouldn't like, that kind of thing. Threats of violence. Now that's really intense, right? Threatening someone with violence because you are so jealous. But it can happen if you're intensely jealous. Spying. Spying not only physically, but spying online can be indicative of jealousy, right? Interrogating others, interrogating a person on their whereabouts or what they've been doing. Interrogating someone about, if we're going to go back to the office, of, like asking them if they're, talking with the boss about taking parts of your job, that kind of thing. Love bombing. So love bombing is very typical, and I think people do this more often than they think. Love bombing is when you throw love and affection at a person, positivity, like talking about how wonderful they are, how much you love them, how, just keep giving them the care, this feeling that you're very caring and loving and devoted, that kind of thing. It can be very negative. Okay, it can be overwhelming, and it can be a very negative thing. This could make people not trust when people love bomb. Okay, and then finally, evidence collecting, going around finding out what was my boss talking about with my coworker, finding out, collecting evidence of maybe someone's cheating, that kind of thing. So those are some of the things we do when we are jealous. Okay, so yeah, this month we're going to go through coping skills for distress tolerance. We're going to do some interpersonal effectiveness coping skills that will help you to talk to the person that you may feel you might be losing, or, even like talking to a boss that you're feeling this way, some sort of way, which could be jealousy. So we'll do a little thing on interpersonal effectiveness when it comes to being jealous. And yeah, so I hope that this helps. Write down your descriptive words for jealousy, make that intensity scale so you can figure out how intensely you're feeling it, and just be aware of the body sensations that we have when we're jealous. We all have different feelings, so some of those may not be what you feel, and there may be others that weren't named. But it's really important for us to understand these things, right? So we will see you again next week, and have a good rest of your week. Bye.